弟兄姐妹，大家平安。今天我们灵修的经文是在创世纪的第11章1到9节。我们先一起来聆听上帝的话语。
起初，天下的人只有一种语言，使用一种话。他们在东方一带流浪的时候，来到巴比伦平原，在那里定居。他们彼此商量，来吧，我们来做砖头，把砖头烧硬。于是他们用砖头来建造，又用柏油砌砖。他们说，来吧，我们来建造一座城，城里要有塔，高入云霄，好来显扬我们自己的名，免得我们被分散到世界各地。于是上主下来，要看看这群人建造的城和塔。他们说，他们是同一个民族，讲同一种话，但这只是一个开始，以后他们可以为所欲为了。来吧，我们下去搅乱他们的语言，使他们彼此无法沟通。于是上主把他们分散到全世界，他们就停止造城的工程。因此这座城叫做巴别，因为上主在那地方搅乱了人类的语言，把他们分散到世界各地。
在创世纪第11章1到9节，巴别塔的故事就显明了人类的自高自大，还有目中无神。人类不愿意散居在地上，只想要盖城建塔来宣扬自己的名，借此呢要追求自我的荣耀，而不是荣耀上帝。他们的行为就直接的违背上帝要人类生养众多，遍满地面的旨意。所以上帝必须变乱他们的语言，拆散他们的计划，迫使他们分散，好使上帝的旨意能够被成就。同样的，我们还记得在新约时期，初代教会里，门徒们领受圣灵，被充满之后，仍然留在耶路撒冷，专注在犹太人的福音事工。因此上帝就借着逼迫使他们分散，福音就得以传到外邦人中间，达成上帝救赎的计划。这些例子都提醒我们，人类如果团结起来，却远离上帝，最终只会变得骄傲还有败坏。但是上帝的干预是为了要挽回人，并且实现他纯全的旨意。上帝经常在我们骄傲或是偏行己路的时候，他有时候会借着拦阻我们，使我们遭遇困难，甚至拆毁我们的计划来挽回我们，让我们认识到我们自己的有限，而学习来依靠他。他的目的是为了破碎我们的舒适圈，带领我们进入到更深的顺服还有使命里。当我们的计划看似受到拦阻，背后或许正是上帝的手在动工，引导我们完成更大的旨意。所以我们的生命会不会也有像巴别塔的情境呢？当我们执着在自己的舒适圈，或是追求自己的成功还有荣耀，可能无形当中已经远离了上帝的心意。上帝可能借着困难或瓶颈来提醒我们，不要依靠自己，而是寻求他的引领还有能力。他的旨意不是要我们停留在熟悉的环境，而是要我们走出去，能够和更多人建立连结，使福音被广传。所以我们要来默想，是否有什么事情会让我过于依赖自己的能力，而忽略了寻求上帝的带领？在我的生活或侍奉中，哪一些瓶颈可能是上帝要我学习谦卑，依靠他的提醒？我是否留恋自己的舒适圈，而忽略了上帝要我成全的使命呢？我们一起来默想和祷告。求主帮助我们，在困难和拦阻当中，看到他良善的旨意， 认识我们自己的有限，学会依靠他。求主破碎我们内心的骄傲还有惧怕，带领我们突破舒适圈，成全他美好的计划。阿们。
我爱你主，因你怜悯永不止息，我一生交托在你手中。清晨当我睁开双眼，直到我躺卧，我要歌颂你良善到永远。我一生你心事不移，我一生主你对我真好。 主你是良善的，你的慈爱存到永远，你的信实直到万代。主，让我们在敬拜当中，我们更多来思想你的良善。主，我们更多来思想你的慈爱以及你的信实。主，看见你的应许要在我们的生命当中来成就。
Now the whole earth had one language and one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Then they said to one another,
Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly.
They had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar.
Come, let us build ourselves a city, and a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth.
But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the sons of men had built.
Indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language. And this is what they begin to do. Now, nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
So the Lord scattered them abroad from there over the face of all the earth, and they ceased building the city. Therefore its name is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth, and from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth.
Goodwill of God's intervention. In Genesis 11, 1-9, the story of the Tower of Babel reveals humanity's arrogance and disregard for God. The people refused to spread out over the earth as God had commanded, instead choosing to build a city and a tower to make a name for themselves. Their pursuit of self-glory directly opposed God's purpose for humanity to be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. In response, God confused their language, disrupting their plans and scattering them across the earth to fulfill his will. Similarly, in the early church, during the New Testament, the disciples, filled with the Holy Spirit, remained in Jerusalem, focusing on the Jewish people. God used persecution to scatter them, spreading the gospel to the Gentiles and accomplishing his redemptive plan. These examples remind us that when humanity unites without God, the result is pride and eventual destruction. God's intervention, even when it disrupts our plans, is an act of grace designed to restore us and accomplish his perfect will. God often intervenes when we act in pride or stray from his path. He uses obstacles, challenges, or even the dismantling of our plans to bring us back to him. These interruptions help us recognize our limitations and teach us to rely on him. His purpose is not to harm us, but to lead us out of our comfort zones into deeper obedience and mission. When our plans seem thwarted, it may well be God's hand at work, guiding us toward a greater purpose. Are there situations in our lives that resemble a Tower of Babel? When we are fixated on our comfort zones or obsessed with pursuing personal success and glory, we may unwittingly drift away from God's purpose. Through challenges or roadblocks, God might be reminding us not to rely on ourselves, but to seek his guidance and strength. His will often involves leading us beyond our familiar surroundings to connect with others and share the gospel. Application and reflection. 1. Is there something I am overly reliant on my own abilities for, neglecting to seek God's guidance? 2, are there challenges or bottlenecks in my life or ministry that might be God's way of teaching me humility and dependence on Him? 3, am I clinging to my comfort zone and ignoring the mission God has called me to fulfill? May the Lord help us see His good and perfect will in the midst of difficulties and obstacles. May we recognize our limitations and learn to depend on Him. Let Him break down our pride and fears, leading us out of our comfort zones to fulfill His beautiful plans.
I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. And all my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire, and in darkest night you were close like no other. I've known you as a father, I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. Oh, all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. My life laid down, surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God.